hackers have been attempting to break into the New York Times computers and email for quite a while now. For about 4 months they've been doing that. And these are hackers from China. So that's really interesting. Why are Chinese hackers trying to get into the email accounts of these New York Times reporters? Well, a few months ago, there was a report written on the Prime Minister of China and his family. And the Prime Minister of China actually grew up extremely poor. That was something that he's talked about, regularly with citizens of China. And by the way, his name is Wen Jiabao. And it's really interesting because all of a sudden his family has accumulated $2.7 billion of wealth. And the New York Times broke that story and they talked about the specifics. Now, as a government official, the Prime Minister can oversee government contracts. And there has been some evidence indicating that he has granted, or the government has granted, $30 million contracts to his brother, for instance, for a company to get rid of medical waste. So a lot of interesting, shady things happening there. Well, in retaliation, Chinese officials have hacked into the emails of New York Times reporters.
The entire staff, it looks like, based on the story, that they got the passwords of the entire staff. They were able to get in. Now, what I think that this shows is that, since this is just really about a family, a very well-connected, very powerful family, obviously, but it's about a family, and it shows, I think, the greater scale that the cyber war is taking on around the world. We already know that the United States, well, we don't know. Let's say the United States has not acknowledged that the Iran Stuxnet worm that went through to destroy their nuclear computer facilities. And, so we know that they're actually worried and pushing through all of the cyber war around the world. And what surprises me about this is that when you think of it being just one family and they're just trying to do, just to find out what's going on, I think that it shows that China's worried. That they're worried that people are going to find out that, well, look, somebody's talking about all the vast wealth that's been accumulated by this one family. And I think that looks really, really bad to anybody else in China who happens to get wind of that.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. One really fascinating, fact about the Prime Minister of China is that he isn't often pictured with his wife. You don't see his wife in many photographs with him. And one of the reasons why is because she is tremendously wealthy. She's wealthy because she has, huge stakes in the diamond industry, and she has become wealthy as a result of that. So they don't want to flaunt their wealth. They don't want the citizens of China to know about their wealth. So them trying to maintain their image is very important. And to have these American reporters or New York Times reporters writing about the reality makes them look bad. They don't like that. So this is definitely in retaliation, and it's so amazingly difficult to prevent them from hacking into their systems again.
Yeah, when you read this New York Times, because the New York Times write a very long story about exactly how they found out, exactly how they believe that the breaking in was done, how they've determined that it's from China. Of course, China has responded and said, absolutely not. We have nothing to do with this. And
let me read their quote.
Oh, yeah, it's a great quote.
Chinese laws prohibit any action, including hacking, that damages internet security. To accuse the Chinese military of launching cyber attacks without solid proof is unprofessional and baseless. By the way, the New York Times worked with a company known as Mandiant, and they allowed these Chinese hackers to go into their systems for a few months, and they were monitoring exactly what was happening. That way they can keep tabs on exactly how they were hacking into the computers so they could prevent future hacks. So a really interesting way of preventing it from happening in the future. But I love how China's like, what? No, I mean, it just happens to be a coincidence that you guys wrote an article about us that we really, really didn't like, and then you got hacked after that.